Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got 3 brand new irons from Wilson to take a look at. So those of you that have used Wilson before know that they make fantastic irons. We've had a bit of a revamp of the staff model range in the blade and the CB, but also the introduction of a brand new iron, the Dynapwr Forged. We're going to hit them here in the Performance Centre, but before I do that, let's have a bit of a look at each of these irons individually and tell you a little bit more about the technology. So the new Dynapwr Forged is a replacement for the D9 Forge, which has been in the range for a couple of years, and is a really popular iron for those of you that need a little bit of forgiveness, but also want something that looks great behind the ball as well. So we can see in the playing position, it's still a really nice, sleek looking head, but when we look at the sole, we've got that power hold technology in there to really help when we particularly hit it lower in the face. So we're gonna get, you know, a much hotter club face all over than we see in the staff model options that we'll have a look at in a second. You can see the cavity in the back, the wider sole, all these things adding to that bit of forgiveness, but also in this beautiful package. And we know that Wilson irons feel absolutely fantastic. Every time I've hit one, I've just marveled at how good they do feel compared to many of the competitors out there on the market. So the staff model blade and the staff model CB are slight updates from the irons that released a couple of years ago. They've had little sort of changes more cosmetically. Some more weight has been shifted towards the toe end of the golf club as well to help balance that up a little bit, shift the CG around a bit. So we shouldn't see as many of those shots that kind of turn over right to left on us. So for those of you that hit quite a big draw or maybe lose the odd one left, these should help a little bit more as well. When we look at them compared to the previous model, like I say, the changes are more obviously the weighting story in there and also slight cosmetic improvements and changes in there too. So we're not going to see a massive kind of, you know, rip up and start again because these irons actually perform really well. Also got the Dynapwr, which obviously came out last year, that we can compare against them as well. So what I'm going to do is hit some shots with each of these, hit them on the Trackman, show you a little bit about the differences in the data that we see, but also talk to you a bit about how each iron feels as I'm hitting it. So we're going to start with the most difficult one to hit and the least forgiving, so the staff model blade. It looks gorgeous, right? So we're trying it with the brand new staff model X golf ball as well, so should get a bit of a look at how that performs too. So I've got a 7 iron here, the one I've been sent, Dynamic Gold S300, 115 grams, which is similar to what I'd normally use. I've got the Tour Issue one, which is a bit heavier and in an extra stiff as well, but it's pretty close. I must say, looks-wise, it's probably one of the nicest looking irons I've seen in a long time, really, sat behind the ball. I mean, I don't know if you can pick that up on there, but that sounds immense. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more you can say about that, but yeah, the actual feel, sound of this golf club, it's so soft. The golf ball came off like a bullet. We've hit a shot there, 185 straight out with a 7 iron, which for me is pretty good. So staff model CB, we can obviously see there's that little bit of forgiveness in there, but in terms of in that playing position, you can't really tell them apart. Yep, very, very good. Feels amazing. Feels a little bit different to the blade in the way that, as silly as it sounds, you can feel that it's more cavitied off the face than you can with that the blade, but I don't mind that. It kind of gives you that bit of confidence and forgiveness. Just feels really good, just like the blade did. Feels really solid off the face. Again, the sort of numbers we're getting there, still pretty good, up towards the 180 yards mark, so very, very nice iron to hit. So now as we move to something with that little bit more forgiveness, the Dynapwr Forged, okay? So we've got this technology, the power holes in the bottom there, we've also got a slightly more cavity back on it. Remember that weight shifted around the head to make it a little bit more stable as well and sort of change the CG location. Again, we've got that nice rounded look, bit wider on the top line. So yeah, there's just tons more forgiveness in this, a little bit more offset in there as well, which again, I absolutely don't mind. I mean, feels and sounds very different to the others, very powerful off the face. I mean, just hit a 7 iron straight away there, that's gone 190 yards. which is, yeah, strong. I mean, we've got a slightly different shaft in this now in KBS Tour Light. Does feel a bit lighter when swinging it, but certainly, I mean, the power that I've just got off the face there was unbelievable. And that's kind of been fairly prevalent in all of the Wilson irons I've tried in this kind of category over the last, God, 5-6 years, really. Anything that's got this technology in seems to go absolutely miles. Does feel very, very different to the staff model ones. Does feel that bit more cavity, does feel that bit stronger. Doesn't look quite as pure behind the golf ball, but it's certainly an iron that's going to suit a hell of a lot of you out there. And as I said, we're going to try it against the current Dynapwr iron as well. So obviously that same technology, obviously more offset, a little bit wider sole, more forgiveness in there, aimed at that kind of game improver type player as well. We've got the KBS Max shaft in this, which is even lighter than the one that we've just tried in Dynapwr Forged. So we'd expect this to be pretty long, easy to hit, easy to get in the air. And we've also done a standalone video of this on the channel, so you can check back, have a look of what we thought of Dynapwr when we tried it back when it released last year. Sounds very different, much more hollow sound to it now. Very easy to get the ball in the air. That's launched extremely high, but we're still seeing really good distance. So that one's gone, it's carried 190 yards with the 7-iron, which, yeah, I'd be very, very happy with. Feel-wise, obviously nothing like what we're getting with staff model, but we are not comparing the same product. We're looking through an entire product range here, from something that's going to suit a player who needs loads of forgiveness, all the way to someone who really wants that pure look, shot shaping ability, and maybe finds the middle of the face a little bit more often than the player that this iron is aimed at. So when we look at the Trackman data for all 4 of these irons, we can see some really subtle differences, and certainly from the more cavitied ones, some slightly less subtle differences, particularly when we're looking at ball speed and distance. So if we look at the new Dynapwr Forged, we can see 192.5 yards as an average in terms of the carry distance with the 7-iron. Now, that is a long way. I would say normally if I was swinging really, really nicely, around 180 yards carry is kind of what I expect from a 7-iron if I hit a good one. Now, obviously we're 10, 12.5 yards longer than that. And when we look at Dynapwr, we're 16 yards longer than that at 196. We can see 200 yards with Dynapwr Forged, 207 with the standard Dynapwr. So they are very long. And like I said, when hitting them, when I fit people here at the golf club, that's exactly what I see as well. I see Wilson irons go a long way, and it's not just because the lofts are stronger, because they're pretty comparable with all the other brands out there. And if I'm honest, they're a brand that's very much overlooked by many golfers when they're looking for a new set of irons, and they absolutely shouldn't be, because their products are amazing. Now, when we look into the staff model, we can see there's a subtle difference between the blade and the CB. So I was actually getting a bit more distance out of the blade than I was out of the CB. It just felt a bit more solid off the face to me, to be honest. I really like the look of it. If we look at the ball speed, 127 miles an hour versus 125.5, 126 with the CB, and we can see the spin is ever so slightly lower with the blade as well. Both these models in the staff model range here, the CB and the blade, you can see are going higher than the Dynapwr Forged and Dynapwr, purely because there's more loft on them. Yeah, so these are down at 34 degrees. I think both of them are 7-iron wise, which is kind of a traditional loft, if you like, for a 7-iron. So we'd expect them to peak that little bit higher, and that's certainly what we're seeing here. And that's kind of comparable with what I would see with my 7-iron as well, which is an MB. We can see here when we compare all 4 of those models and the entire kind of iron range that Wilson have now, that there's something in there for everyone. If you're that golfing purist that wants a club that looks amazing, all the way to someone who needs that little bit of help, they've got it covered. So hopefully you've enjoyed that video. It's been great to test them. It's been good to use the staff model ball as well in conjunction with these new irons, but definitely go out there and get fitted. And Wilson should definitely be on your shopping list if you're looking at some new irons in 2024. See you all very, very soon.